what they have to pay fees for because bursaries really are scarce. So I really had to be gentle with them, but like management for myself is really seeing a therapist and just drawing the line and gently saying no, without offending them and hurting their feelings for also what they are going through and not seeking help for. So it's really something we just have to be passionate about.
Thanks for Tommy. Really detailed and interesting call. I asked earlier about the worst holiday you've ever been on. Here's one. Listen to this. The worst trip I had was my first and last girls' trip away in Durban. The organizer gave away our room to the driver, saying he drove us to Durban. He's a grown black man and cannot sleep in the lounge. Two of us had to either share a bed with others or sleep on the sofa. Mind you, I flew to Durban, yet I was expected to pay for a seat in that taxi. The friend who I was going because of didn't even stand up for me. Worst trip ever. Okay, we're still taking those, by the way, if you want to share that with us. 702 Drive, I was asking about Justin Bieber. Here, this one. I'm just here to flex that Justin Bieber follows me on Twitter. Well done. His new album has an amazing playlist. Baby will forever be a favorite. We'll see. We'll dig it out of our playlist and see if we've got some time to play. But we've got some calls, starting with Godfrey in Midrand. Godfrey, welcome.
Hey, Dr. John, Happy New Year, almost Happy Easter already.
And to you.
I react very violently to the Dr. John to the thing of black tax.
Yes.
In terms of how people put it negatively. Like this lady who spoke just now. The context is totally misplaced. There is no way that one could have a clear conscience where you know that these people struggle and share with you as domestic servant or uncle or whatever middle class to put you in a better position than where you are. That you can't look back and say, how do we feel when you live in this plush and in all these artificial penthouses, but when you go home, you drive this plush car, but there's not even water, there's not even a toilet, there's not even a step. I think the word black sex must not even be used to that because it is wrong. The meaning and it smacks of serious ingratitude when people have actually, even adages will say, a child is brought up by a village. They sacrifice pigs, cattle, they make sure you go to school, you become a decent person. The only thing that you must do is for yourself to be grateful and not perpetuate the level of poverty, because you must still be better than your parents. But also, by the same token, some of us call our children and never make our children realize that there's a need to be responsible with finances and need to plow back to the community and to the family.
Godfrey in Midrand, it's really sparked a debate. We need to think overnight about how we continue this conversation, because clearly many people do want to talk about it. 702 Drive, it's 5 minutes to 6.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
What is the ANC's reaction to the Democratic Alliance's march?
The DA knows fully well that Jubilee House doesn't produce or distribute or transmit electricity. They are doing this as part of an electioneering plot. How do you match the hopes of another political party? What are you hoping for?
The answer is simple. When you have a problem, you go to the root cause of the problem. We don't have a Eskom problem. We don't have a Resta problem. We've got an ANC problem in South Africa.
Midday Report
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
There is nothing wrong with being a know-it-all. In fact, it could win you cash and the Brain of Brains title with Discount and 702. Discount Brain of 702 is back. Visit 702.co.za today to register for a chance to go head-to-head with other brains and win your share of over 200,000 rand. Could be you. The 2023 Discount Brain of 702. A winning mind and a healthy body. More on 702.co.za. Hello?
Hi, we're from the Neighborhood Watch.
Hi. Yes?
Can we come in? We'd like to, what's your kitchen?
Enter Simply Asia's Kitchen Ka-Ching and win state-of-the-art SMEG accessories valued at 150,000 Rand. A complete SMEG over. Free entry every time you buy any Simply Asia meal, plus double entry whenever you use the Simply Asia app. Kitchen Ka-Ching ends 31 Jan. Buy young now, get SMEG'd later. Simply Asia, authentic Thai.
Sage gives businesses like Brian Havana's the tools and insights to stay ahead of tax year end.
For us, speed, quickness is incredibly key in the success of our business, and we've learned that we need to always be on top of things.
Become a Sage customer like Brian and set up your business for success. Visit tax.sage.co.za today. Sage, helping business flow.
Drive home with John Perlman
On 702, let's walk the talk.
With the Money Show between 6 and 8. It's Wednesday. Wednesday's almost done, but there's still time for you to have a wonderful evening. So do.
And now,
The Money Show
with Bruce Whitfield.
Live, online, DSTV
92.7 and 106 FM.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show brought to you by APSA CIB, working with their clients to help them navigate the hospitality industry with strategic insights. The bravery to imagine. That's Africanacity. APSA is a registered FSP. Well, at what point do interest rates do more harm than good ahead of tomorrow's inevitable rate hike? That question asked.
Cashing.
Also, the Time Bank chief Kuli Jonker is in town. He's done a big deal with the Fushini Group. Already, it has developed some dominance in digital banking via Pick and Pay. Astral spending more to grow chickens that it can sell them for. We'll put ChatGPT in the spotlight. I'm playing with experts' response. Wendy Nolan this evening with Consumer Ninja feature. And the chief executive of Ocean Basket, Grace Harding. Explain that analogy. Coming up, 7:12. It was a great exercise.
320.
That's where the ANC, near the ANC's headquarters at dismantle government-owned hire utility Astral. The DA says the governing party has failed to turn things around at the entity and ultimately pushing South Africa into a state of crisis. Also, Conor Duma covered the Johannesburg leg of that march. Joined with DNA says he is baffled by the president's circle and that also has recently adding that the board is trying to overreach.
Last week he told us his hands were tied, it's got nothing to do with him. This week he's instructing Eskom, which is outside of his mandate actually, and a violation of his office.
He says he is this challenging the president.
If you are as vehemently opposed to the nurse increase, join our court cases in amicus, bring the state's legal resources behind our case, and together we can defeat this increase. But don't try and fool the people of South Africa by pretending you're against something when you're actually for it.
It even says they plan to hold court demonstrations against the high cost of electricity amid their legal queries to prevent costs from further increasing. Osikon, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg. DA members also took to the streets of Cape Town. That's where they expressed that it is now time for South Africans to get rid of the ANC by voting it out of government in next year's general elections. Mtutuzela Nene has more from Cape Town.
The DA's power crisis march to the ANC's offices wrapped up in Cape Town. At least 1,000 DA members from across the Western Cape have today flooded the streets of the Cape Town city centre. Addressing the crowd just a stone throw from the ANC's offices, Western Cape Premier Ellen Wendy says the only solution to the country's problems is to put an end to the ANC's rule.
We must make sure that every South African, every single South African that can vote is registered to vote. And every single South African that wants change, that wants to fix the problem, goes out and votes the ANC out.
Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
There was a protest in the capital against the state of higher education in the country. The EFF Student Command marched the union buildings today as tertiary institutions are due to open their doors for the 2023 academic year. Alfarano Shwana was there.
Almost 5 hours into the march, the EFF Student Command is now in Alexandra with the hope of arriving in Pretoria and Lord. Its president, C.J. Lawrence, says the march aims to raise concern over the issues affecting students at institutions of higher learning, including student accommodations.
In setting, there are students who are sleeping outside in CPUT, there are students who are sitting in labs and lecture theatres.
He's accused government of lacking a plan to address the shortage of beds. Alpha Ramushwana, Eyewitness News in Alexandra.
The South African Funeral Practitioners Association has encouraged South Africans to bury their loved ones within 4 days of their passing, as load shedding is affecting operations. It says it's struggling to keep bodies at the correct temperature to prevent them from decomposing. The association also says the heat wave is also making the situation worse. Reports.
As many sectors struggle as a result of load shedding, funeral practitioners are battling to keep their businesses operational. Despite having generators, SAPS says at the rate that load shedding is continuing, the backup systems are under pressure, forcing its members to service their generators 4 times more than they do. SAPS chairperson Monacheng Lekhai says they are pleading with the public to ensure the dignity of the deceased is preserved.
Now, if that body now meets the heat itself, the body starts heating up because they have high blood pressure, diabetes, whatever you may call it.
The Higher says the association is implementing these measures to avoid bodies from decomposing. Eyewitness News.
And the Democratic Republic of Congo has declared Rwanda's shooting of one of its fighter jets an act of war amid mounting tensions. Rwanda's government says it has taken defensive measures against a plane that violated its airspace. The DRC has denied this claim. This is a major escalation following months of conflict in eastern DRC, which has forced about 500,000 citizens to flee their homes. Gold is trading at $1,932.97 an ounce. The rand is at 17.14 to the dollar, 21.17 to the pound, 18.68 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $86.46 a barrel.
And in your sport, heartbreak for the Spa Proteas as they lose 49-42 to England in the bronze medal match at the Netball Pod Series. And the Proteas women thrashed the West Indies by 10 wickets in their T20 Tri-Series encounter.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng tomorrow with isolated showers expected. Johannesburg dropping to an overnight low of 13 degrees, peaking at 27. Pretoria 17 and 31, Vereeniging 14 and 29. Cape Town will be fine along with the southeasterly breeze, a low of 16 and a high of 26. Top story in Iowa to Susan Sour. It's
The N1.
Eyewitness News, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za.
The Money Show with Bruce Whitfield on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
On 92.7 and 106 FM.
Good evening, welcome to the Money Show. It's very good to be with you on this Wednesday evening. The Money Show brought to you by ABSA CIB. Their clients can help them navigate the hospitality industry with the great Britain and that's the capacity. That's of course the latest in every single tonight. Lots to talk about as we illustrated today and a really sort of picture of the time. And it's also very efficient also of putting products into the consumer market, because it's costing them more to produce the birds that they're producing than it does to when they sell them in the shops. And so it's a huge problem in South Africa's environment as well. The sustainability of the sector is to take some strain. Koen Jonker, the chief executive of Time Bank, which is just added. Time Bank is there. That story. We also asked how many things we can understand. Then at what point higher interest rates when it comes to head of this, most certainly going to be an interest rate hike tomorrow, 25 basis points, 50 basis points, markedly divided. We'll find out at the tomorrow afternoon what the interest rate cycle has in store for you. We'll talk chat Radio and Grace Parker, Chief Executive Officer of Ocean Basket on her global expansion plan, one of South Africa's most successful franchises. All of that tonight on the
702.
Bruce is on the Money Show.
Can somebody help me on a mechanism, and I don't know if there is a mechanism, by which you could charge interest on your lottery gains? If you owe SARS money, SARS will bill you interest. They will charge you on the outstanding funds. They will do it from the moment they decide to put money. But if you've got to pay money that's not due to you for any reason, that spent years fighting over whether or not it should be paid back, I wonder whether or not you have to pay back interest on that money. I don't know the answer to this question. Okay, so what might be a Brian Whatever, for example, who received a outrageous pension settlement for very little time spent with Islam. Battle that one for years. Saudi Botswana. He's lost an appeal today to avoid paying back the half of the man that was paid to him as what they call a successfully redeemed lottages. Anyway, Saudi Botswana now Brand, the former South African rugby CEO, the fellow Washington Business Finance Jubilee is fighting with him, paying back 37 million rand, which he is due to be allocated for the benefits of the university's rugby program. And that case beginning in the Western Cape High Court today. Now, to lose that should he pay interest on the 37 million rand. Of course, you're free to fight the case. Of course, you're free. You feel you are right, and you're willing to fund the court case, and you're willing to battle it out in the courts and go through the stress of that. Perfectly entitled to do it. But what is the consequence of fighting for years and earning a return on that money, and then only paying back the capital if you lose it? Paid 10 million rand 10 years ago. You invest that at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9%, whatever interest rate you can get over that period of time. You put it into the stock markets, you double your money, and then 10 years later you go, oh, actually, I'll pay it. The capital that you were given access to a decade ago was a fraction of what it was back then. You've had a huge gain of blood. There's something wrong about that. One of the things to make us aware of that is to shout or drop us a WhatsApp this evening, 072 702
You're with Bruce Whitfield on 702.
702.
Another leap forward for Time Bank, which has grown in leaps and bounds thanks to its association with Pick n Pay, now partnering with the Foschini Group to offer customers 3 new financial products, shopping and banking. Kunrad Jonker is the co-founder and chief executive of Thai Bank, which is headquartered nowadays in Singapore as it looks at its own globalization strategy. Take me through the Foschini Group deal at Lynnwood. Good evening.
Hello, Bruce. Yes, very excited about the deal. We're partnering with Foschini Group on an initial 5-year period, and we have rolled out in the TFG Group across their 22 brands, 600 kiosks. Now that means that we almost double our distribution reach in the country as Time Bank. And what we deploy from those kiosks is a fully functional bank account, same as our other bank accounts. You can open it in 5 minutes, and it gives the customer, in addition to the Time Bank benefits, also great integration into TFG's loyalty program, as well as the Smart Shopper program from Pick n Pay. And then we also have a buy now pay later product with them called More Time, which allows customers to essentially buy a product from TFG and pay it off over 3 months with no interest and no fees.
And again, at this stage, you're acquiring 188,000 customers on average every month. Most of those that we've seen through those little yellow and black kiosks that you see in Pick n Pays, and now you'll see across the Foschini Group branch.
That's right. About 80% of our 6.2 million customers have come to us through those kiosks.
So this is, I suppose, the brilliance of a digital product. You don't have to employ salespeople standing on the floor. You don't have to have an assistant who is standing at the kiosk to give help if somebody feels like they're intimidated by the process. But it's that kiosk, the simplicity of customer acquisition, which is perhaps the strength of the way in which customers can sign up nowadays to financial products.
That's right. In a sense, the kiosk is just the best of both worlds. It is designed as a customer self-service channel, so you can go there and get your bank account opened and get your personalized debit card printed, and you walk away with that. But we also do deploy over 1,000 at what we call ambassadors, and they're really young people. We tend to employ previously unemployed young people from local communities, and their job is really just education and to help you become comfortable with the channel. And we know that that's a great add-on to the channel because it improves both the productivity of the kiosk and the quality of customer adoption that we get after the customer signing up.
Every bank is always wants to ensure that it's got the best quality customer, somebody who's going to be depositing a salary with them, somebody who's going to be transacting on their banking product, paying a fee from time to time. What is the quality of the customer base? I mean, it's all very good to be signing up and getting 200,000 customers each and every single month, but if they're not interacting with you, if they're not transacting with you, then they're kind of just an expensive electric.
Bruce, that's absolutely right. So the key here is not just how many customers you sign up, but how often they use you. And we've built, now a franchise where more than 70% of our 6.2 million customers are active, and they use us on average about 11 times a month. And so the nice thing about the operating model that we have is once a customer uses us, even if that customer is very poor, say for instance SRB grant recipient that only gets 350 rand from government, even that customer for us is a profitable customer, provided they use the product.
Okay, what about the global expansion plans? Because the business is headquartered, you're based in Singapore, and there was a deal, and I hope I get this right, in Indonesia with one of Indonesia's leading retail families, in the same way as the acronyms of with leading retail family in South Africa and Pick n Pays that association. You did a deal with this family to roll out Time, I think, in Indonesia. How's that going?
Bruce, it's actually in the Philippines. It's
Philippines? I knew it was one of the two, and I just haven't gone to that part of the world, so forgive me.
No problem. Philippines, we have a partnership there with the Conway family, which is one of the largest family conglomerates. We launched in October, and we delighted with we're growing at about 5 times the pace we launched in South Africa. So out of the Philippines is producing debit cards fast enough to keep up with the demand. So we're absolutely delighted about how things are going there.
That's a understanding those markets is absolutely critical. Does it speed up the process of entering new markets?
Oh yes, I think
I get
is still very much a local game, and it has many idiosyncrasies. And what we're trying to do here is sort of the best of both worlds, which is from a systems and a fundamental product for suppliers and so on perspective, we're building on one infrastructure. But what the partners help us do is really understand the local nuances and adjust to those and just make things faster and increase our ability to attract great talent and to build trust with customers.
Where next? I mean, South Africa, you've got sort of not nailed down completely, but you're growing at an astonishing rate in this market. You've got tie-ups with two very significant retail groups in this country. Is your attention all now focused elsewhere?
South Africa is our flagship market. Our big job in South Africa is this coming year to become profitable. For the first time we've reached a net operating income of over 100 million rands for the month. So we're very pleased with our revenue momentum. Our first priority is make sure that we've reached success with South Africa. Second priority is grow the Philippines fast. And then we're probably looking in for market number 3 somewhere in Southeast Asia for the third market.
And the advantage of being based in Singapore versus in South Africa or in the Philippines itself, the advantage of Singapore, which is drawing a huge amount of family money from all over the world. I think I've mentioned this to you before. James Dyson has set up a presence in Singapore. The Oppenheimers have set up a presence in Singapore. There doesn't be an awful lot of family office money going into Singapore. But you see, this launch pad into China, into Southeast Asia. It's got a very advantageous geographical and regulatory position.
Yes, so access to capital is fantastic in that market. The regulation around holding companies for financial services companies, for fintech companies are excellent. So the government getting those great, government incentives to be there. And it's just a very good place geographically. Southeast Asia is a target market. It's a flight from basically everywhere in Southeast Asia. And as you notice, we've got our technology and development team in Ho Chi Minh City. We employ over 300 engineers and developers there. And so Singapore is also very nicely, closely positioned to Ho Chi Minh City, where we have our development capacity.
Is any of the development happening in South Africa?
Yes. So about 70% of our technology team sits in Vietnam, but the rest of the team is spread throughout the world. So we've got quite a significant portion of the team. I think about maybe 10 or 15% of the team here, and then we've got people in India. We've got a few people in Zimbabwe working directly from Harare and from a few other places.
Co-founder and chief executive of Time Bank. This deal involving Time Bank with Jubilee, but then also a while ago, just implementation of that transaction. We've got 6.2 million customers, 70% of whom interact regularly, at least 11 times a month, with their Time Bank account. And then the rollout in the Philippines and looking for a third economy in Southeast Asia. It's really interesting, the work that has been done on the technology, and of course these technology businesses, is 70% of that team sits in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City. The world is incredibly interconnected in small space, and if you are that technical skill set, if you're competitive in what you have to offer, well then you can compete. If you're not, then you can't compete. Several times, one more time. Chris Becker, 15 years ago, why are you not investing in South Africa? Why are you not investing in training in South Africa the same way as you are in China and India? Maths and science marks just aren't good enough. Not enough people in South Africa, said Chris Becker at that time, long time ago, to justify us doing what we do in places like India, the most populous country in the world now, 1.4 billion people, superlative inventory, great connectivity. It's supplying services out of India to the rest of the world.
The Money Show.
The markets.
To Chris Stewart, we go with a slight pullback on our markets today, but the tone of global markets, Chris Stewart, is fairly negative. Actually, we said European markets, they were down today. US trading quite sharply lower. What's the sort of feel of global markets right now? I don't think so, Steve. I don't want to talk to us. I'm told Chris Stewart is ready via Zoom, which is a wonderful thing. There you are.
Ready via Zoom, Bruce. There we go.
Excellent.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Yes, I mean, the tone of global markets having come out of the blocks pretty quick at the beginning of the year, I think really on the back of excitement around further reopening in the Chinese economy, certainly some moves to roll back some of the COVID-related constraints that have been holding back the Chinese economy, a more constructive attitude from regulators and policymakers towards business. That helped, I think, softening energy prices and less concerns around inflation, particularly in Europe and the United States. Also started to help, and a lower oil price was helping as well. Now we've seen, I guess, the oil price tick up a little bit of late, and although the inflation data that we've been seeing comes out of Australia this morning, perhaps the exception to the norm, showing improvement. There was always going to be a time where the market said, okay, perhaps inflation is going to be less of a problem now. Perhaps we can see that monetary policy is going to be less tight this year than it was last year. And we've seen the bulk of rate hikes are now behind us. But what about growth? And I think the market now started to look forward and say, well, some of the growth data we're seeing is looking disappointing. And although inflation may not be a huge problem, markets, despite the trade they did sell off a little bit last year, are still reasonably elevated by historic levels. And if growth doesn't come through this year, if indeed we do see a recession in varying degrees across the globe, that's not so good for businesses. I think we've all had that note.
How is Quilter doing? They had an update today. Quilter is the investment business Old Mutual left behind, kept a stake in the United Kingdom. It's probably the rose amongst the thorns of Old Mutual back in the day. How is it holding up?
Yeah, I mean, no huge surprises, unsurprisingly, if you can figure that out, and partly because they come up with an unscheduled sort of impromptu trading update towards the end of last year that the market hadn't been expected. So this follows in quite quick succession to that. Doesn't say anything particularly new. Assets under management indeed closed the year fairly flat on the September 30 levels. Net flows into the business were very modest over the period, below the run rate that they have achieved historically, and below the run rate that they would like to achieve going forward. Now, to contextualize that, the fourth quarter of the year is typically a fairly slow year for net inflows into wealth managers. So there's some of that to play, and I guess the fact that there was a lot of volatility still in the United Kingdom in the last quarter of calendar 2022 probably put a lid on net flows as well. And if you look at the peer group, it's not disastrous, but it's not good enough relative to the targets that they've set themselves. And it was a bit of an iffy update. Not great, but not a disaster.
What is not a disaster, but decidedly horrible, is Astral Foods. They've warned their half-year profit is going to fall by 90%. They're not able to hike their chicken prices, and they've got rocketing feed costs. They've got huge costs as a result of load shedding. It's depressing.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the market took quite a sanguine view of Astral's results, or Astral's trading update this morning. The stock only closed down 2 or 3% last time I checked, I think. And as you point out, they're in a tough space. They've got cost pressures coming from all sides, particularly, as you point out, feed costs with the maize price pretty high. That's contributing to a significant increase in the cost of bringing their broilers to market. I can't remember the exact statistic. I think feed costs were something like 70% of the total cost of bringing a broiler to market. So if feed costs are going up, that's tough. And if feed costs are going up at the same time as we've got extraordinary business disruptions as well as extraordinary costs coming through in terms of trying to keep energy supply going, it's a really, really tough environment for Astral. And, while one could look at that and dismiss it as, one particular company going through a tough environment, some of the comments around food security and the impact, not just on food inflation, but indeed on the ability to bring protein sources to market, are something that one needs to stand up and take a very careful look at. Load shedding really impacting across all elements of the economy right now.
Yeah, I mean, Astral saying that the current cost to produce chicken exceeds the selling price by at least R2 a kilogram. And these guys are slaughtering, during normal times, slaughtering 5 million chickens a week. That's a lot of kilograms of chicken. It's very, very significant. And they can probably weather this. They can make a plan, but they're going to be local marginal producers going to be pushed out of business.
Yeah, I mean, there's been anecdotal evidence. In the morning, there were a couple of much smaller players within the chicken value chain calling in and just giving an indication on the ground as the sort of interruption that interrupted energy supply was creating for their business. And, we haven't seen it yet in terms of credit quality within the SME and small and commercial space, but one can only surmise that it's a matter of time before some of the players who perhaps don't have sufficiently deep enough pockets, don't have the capital to deploy to enable their businesses to navigate this environment, do end up in fact just falling over at some stage.
Yeah, it's a tough environment. The retail sector, I mean, the big sort of bag in the retail sector that has come through so far, generally, companies holding up fairly well in the face of rising inflation and rising interest rates. It's like taming somewhat. It's the question I ask you when you have the privilege always to ask you the day ahead. How is it going to happen tomorrow? Rachel, I don't know. I suspect it's a tough call. I think we've got 50 basis points to come with re-getting one tomorrow, or into 25 basis point bite-size installments tomorrow, and in March I think it's harder to call. So I'll let me say 25 tomorrow. Tomorrow. And as you point out, I mean, the South African consumer has continued to surprise on the upside. Retail sales, retail